Well, good morning. It's actually about 11 o'clock. I've been doing some video editing this morning and just basically enjoying the beautiful sunrise and scenery. As you can see, I got the truck all packed up. I'm going to head toward Moab. It's about a 6-hour drive if I take the back way. And that's the only way to take, right? So before I go though, I wanted to take the Sur-ron out and get up in the hills here. There's supposed to be some cool trails up in at the top of the cliffs. And I just couldn't quite get the adventure bike up there. So before I hit the road, I want to go cruise around a little bit and do that. I was going to fly this morning. It was perfect conditions again, but I had somebody camped right where that car is. And then somebody was camped a little bit over here. Two areas they're not supposed to camp because they're within 500 feet of that cattle fencing. But the main thing was you fly when you're not going to disturb anyone, and they probably wouldn't have minded too much. I would have taken off and gotten out of here, but I had such an awesome experience yesterday. I didn't want to ruin it by disturbing others. So that's just making smart decisions as a pilot. When you should fly, what impact are you having on your environment, on the people around you? It's kind of like jet ski. I remember when I first got my jet ski, it said, never spend too much time in one place because it's annoying. People don't want to listen to that loud noise over and over and over again. So kind of the same thing with the flying. I had an awesome experience yesterday. No sense in pushing my luck. So, all right, I'm going to take this bike out and play, and then we'll hit the road. Now, I think this was a spot the local I talked to told me I needed to check out. It's this tree that's growing within this cave. Looks pretty cool from a distance. Here's what I'm looking. It's a beautiful area. Definitely couldn't get the Sur-ron back here. Wow. Wow. That is crazy. Crazy beautiful. Just look at the markings on the rock. Wow, that is gorgeous. He showed me a picture. Oh, the echo in here is pretty cool. He showed me a picture of the tree with the sunrise coming up, and that was beautiful. Oh yeah. So this is from within the cave. You are actually sheltered. You gotta imagine this was used by someone at some point in time as a place to live. Wow, this is amazing. Oh, I'm gonna get all sandy, but it's worth it. Wow. Yeah, this must have been kind of the picture he had. The sun coming up. This would be an amazing place to camp. Wow. Can you imagine during a rainstorm? Well, I guess down in the bottom here would probably pool up with water, but Yeah, it's pretty cool though. There's like a little cave or something. We'll go see what that's all about. I tell you what, if you're going to do some kind of adventure like this, where you're going to be hiking a lot and just getting, off the road, you got sand, mud, gravel, lava stone, remember? You definitely want to get some good boots. I've had these for, about a year now. I don't use them a whole lot unless I go hiking, or a lot of times I'll wear them when I paramotor because they're nice and comfortable and they support well. But just get yourself a good set, man. I can't imagine trying to wear tennis shoes out here or just unsupportive footwear. You can tell the path here isn't so bad in this particular area, but just to be on the safe side. So let's take a look at this cave. Wow, what looks like happened is this rock at some point, however many years ago, slid down and created this cave. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that you're going to get some runoff, as you can see, the rock isn't fully sealed, so water probably does run in there. Wow, what a cool place to live though. Secure that area up, you'd be in a good position. I have to show this because this is super interesting to me, because how does this happen? Check out this rock. There's this tiny hole that's just developed in this sand rock. And that's what this is. This is like a sand-based rock. But this hole is there for some reason. Maybe an animal made it. Or the water flowed through and it just kept... Oh, actually, you can kind of see. So the water flowed around that area. Maybe it just wore it down. This is so cool. Look at that. It just... Wow. That is interesting rock. This is where getting off the beaten path is, where you find just kind of cool things. Now, I can see some tracks down here, so I know some people come down here, but like that local was telling me, he goes, these are the things people bypass because they stay on the main trails. So it's really only the people that know of the area, or who are on some type of utility vehicle that can get back here, because you wouldn't be driving a car back here, that's for sure. Very cool. So the Sur-ron got me to the top. So this is the top of the cliffs that I've been staring at for the last 2 days. My campsite is way over there. That's where I launched from, and I flew over the top of this, of course. But pretty cool views from up here. Very cool. So this is a hiking trail back here that is no motorized vehicles, and you can hike all the way to the end. Apparently it's like a mile long, mile and a half long. I'm on a little bit of a time schedule. I want to hit the road and get over to Moab, so I'm going to turn around, head back. I did have a little issue with the Sur-ron, but I hit a little jump, and the adapter for this, when you raise the seat up, you have to put this adapter in that holds the cover down, and that's what secures the battery. That busted, so the battery must have pushed up on a jump. Fortunately, in my daily pack, I keep rope and I keep zip ties and flint and heated blanket, or not heated, but one of those reflective blankets. So a bunch of tools just for these types of situations. So that should get me by until I can get back and secure it a little bit better. All right, as much as I hate to leave this gorgeous area, the time has come. Okay, I got back to camp. I'm all ready to head out. I did want to run through something on the Sur-ron. One of the biggest questions I get asked when people see this thing is, what kind of range do I get? So I've been cruising around for about an hour and 20 minutes. I started out at 80% battery, and now I'm at 40%. And you saw what kind of riding I do. I mean, I'm hard on it. I'm jumping. I'm full throttle most of the time. So you can easily get a couple hours out of a full battery. I wasn't full, of course. I don't know, maybe 2-3 hours. It's hard to say. I've never really pushed it that far, but definitely has never been an issue for me running out of range. I think I'd be exhausted from riding before I'm out of battery. Okay, let me just make something quick for lunch, and then it's time to hit the road. To be honest, I could not be more happier with this setup. I'm really glad I decided to go this route. My intention was to tow my large toy hauler trailer. This trailer is set up with living quarters. It's got a mini split for heating and cooling. It's got a kitchen area, a bathroom. It's got a bed. It can hold my motorcycle, my paramotor, all my gear. It's got a nice desk for working. But you know what? On those cold nights and cold mornings, guess where I would have been? I would have been sitting in that trailer, comfortable, doing my editing or reading or planning, whatever I was doing. This setup forced me to really embrace my environment, spending time in it on those cold nights, those cold mornings where I had my propane fireplace going. I was sitting outside because the alternative was sitting in a small tent, which would still be cold, or sitting inside the truck. It allowed me to really soak into my environment and become part of it. I could not be happier with how this all came together. Now this trailer weighs about 1,500 pounds with all my gear, the motorcycle, the Sur-ron, and the Paramotor. The truck had no problem towing it. This truck is amazing. Now even at its current stance, okay, this is basically a stock F-150. It's a limited model, so it's got great features and comforts and all that kind of stuff. The sand was probably the biggest hurdle because it's a heavy truck. But in this situation on this road, I'm actually in two-wheel drive, and you can see there's no problem towing it. This trailer is not a heavy-duty trailer, and as long as you take it slow, you can see that it's held up to some of the abuse I've put it through just fine. Now what this trip has done is it's inspired me to invest a little bit of money into my truck. I'm buying a lift kit for it, a little bit better suspension, a little more aggressive tires. That'll put me in a better position for the next trip when I want to tackle maybe a little bit rougher terrain, or maybe some hill challenges or things like that. So I'm really excited to start equipping this vehicle and this setup for my next big adventure. Back on the road, guys. What an amazing time at that location. Wow. I would have loved to stay a couple more days. There's a few more places I'd like to try to fly from and visit, and my time is dwindling away. So technically I need to be back in Tennessee on Friday. So that gives me 7 more days. So anyway, we're gonna head to Moab and just see what we can find in that area. Google Maps does not seem to like my choice to take this route. It keeps reminding me, hey, you can save 45 minutes if you backtrack and take the interstate. I don't want to take the interstate. I want to take the back way through whatever I'm going to go through to get where I'm going. So that's part of the adventure. So it adds another 45 miles, I believe, on my trip. So maybe another hour more driving. Well worth it to have the scenery I'm going to have. So that should put me in kind of late though, so I may stop somewhere along the way. We'll have to see what the weather looks like and then make some decisions from there. So I would like to fly tonight, or at the very little tomorrow, but let's wait and see what happens. Play it by ear. All right guys, road time. So what's really cool about this part of Utah, so I'm probably maybe 150 miles north of the Arizona border. So on the south side of Utah, it's just desert. You know, I didn't see any water outside of that lake that was heavily depleted due to the drought. You come up to this part of Utah and it's pretty beautiful. And there's creeks and little lakes, and it's actually a really awesome spot. When I officially retire and my kids are grown, I thought about moving up to Montana or Wyoming, but the more time I spend here in Utah, the more time I think I could make this work. This is gorgeous. So I had to make a little pit stop. Butch Cassidy's childhood home, right here. Just out of nowhere, they have a sign. So we're gonna go check out Butch Cassidy's home. Let's see. Well, they won't let you actually go in the home. We have to look through this plexiglass, which is probably because people would ruin it or steal something. Kind of cool though. It's amazing how these structures how these structures can survive so many years. You know what? I'm kind of jealous of Butch Cassidy. He lived in a pretty awesome area. Cool. So just leaving Butch Cassidy's childhood home. I guess he lived there up until he was 18 or something like that. It's kind of interesting, the perspective. You know, this was back in 1880. So this highway, of course, wasn't here. None of these power lines were here. They probably just had horse trails. You know, how far did he have to go to get supplies? You know, it's just, we're out in the middle of nowhere, outside of a river that runs by here. It's just amazing to think about that life, what it must have been like to live back then, and just have to be self-reliant, you know? That's the problem with modernization, is that we've been so spoiled in the fact that we don't have to be self-reliant anymore. We don't have to take care of ourselves. We can just go buy stuff. We can just go to a company and pay a bill every month, and that gives us electricity, that gives us heat, that gives us air conditioning, that gives us all of these conveniences, and we don't have to do any work for it outside of having a job so you can pay these bills. There's something very authentic about that lifestyle, that way of living back then. You know, it created a different type of person. Definitely not an entitled person. Definitely not a wimpy, puny person. You had to actually work. You had to work with your hands. You had to learn things. You actually had to have a brain in order to thrive. Back then, it was the survival of the fittest, because you had to be fit to survive. Now anybody can survive. Now they have to put warning signs on a bottle of bleach not to drink it, because people just aren't smart enough to make common sense choices, common sense decisions. Anyway, very interesting. Wow. Imagine the storms that come through here in the winter. I'd love to get out here in the winter. Very cool. So I came across this amazing spot somewhere in Utah. I'm really not sure exactly where I'm at, but oh man, I was so want to fly from this area. There's just not a lot of landing options. This is the landscape here. It's absolutely amazing. So I got my truck parked there just to kind of give you some perspective. There's an LZ area at the bottom of this hill, but outside of that, I mean, it's just trees and trees and trees and hills, and yeah. It's unfortunate because this would be a beautiful area to check out. That's all right. I seem to keep finding beautiful areas everywhere I go, so there's no shortage of amazing areas. I'm going to see if I can get the drone set up. My first time on this trip, that I'm in an area that I have zero signal, zero service. Basically, it's all blanked out on my phone. So I get to use that Garmin InReach that I bought for this exact situation. I'm not about to leave this area because of no service. This is where I'm at, and there is nobody out here except for some cows you can see way on the other side there. This is absolutely gorgeous, and I'll get some drone footage as well. But from a wider perspective, look at this LZ. I cannot complain about that. So I'm really hopeful. The winds are decent right now. You can tell from the windsock, but they're pretty laminar, and I'm not worried about taking off with winds like that as long as it's pretty steady. I've probably got maybe an hour and 20 minutes before sunset. So I'm just getting the motor set up and ready to go. I'll probably just put a few liters of gas, maybe 5 liters in, and then do some buzzing around, and if it's good, then I'll land and add a little bit more. But I do have the water, of course. We don't like water. I'm not going to put my floats on, but I'm going to stay away from the water, or I'll be high enough up, so I don't have to worry about that. It would be cool to explore some cliffs. Everything is pretty far from here, though. This area back here, yeah, I could definitely get there, and maybe I will tonight. We'll have to see what it's like once I get up in the air. But the winds are coming this direction. You can see from the windsock. So basically everything there is going to be pretty slow, and if I go too far that way, it's going to be pretty slow coming back. So I'm going to probably try to stay in this area as much as I can. I can see a camper or something way across the lake. Outside of that, maybe a house way down there. I don't know. There were a couple guys here fishing when I got here, and I asked them if they minded if I parked and flew, and they said, well, we were just about to head out. So that worked out really good. They're going to head down the lake a little bit farther and do some fishing. Apparently it wasn't very good out here, but it's amazing what you find. Just a little bit of exploration. Everything is looking great on the motor. So the winds are still a little bit, they're not really gusty, it's pretty laminar, so I think I'm going to try to kite the wing a little bit, and then if things are going good there, we'll send it. I think I have about an hour before sunset. It's hard to tell, I have no cell service out here. Funny how we get so reliant on that. Anyway, let's give it a shot. That is glorious. Those are some pretty awesome winds. A little bit of gusts, but nothing substantial. So I think it's time to send it. I know we're not supposed to ground start our paramotors. I don't have really a way to do it now. There's no way I can do that on my back. So what I do is I put a knee on my harness to kind of secure it down, and then I hold the frame. So far it's worked pretty well. Just got to be smart. These kind of conditions are pretty awesome because it's just so nice to come down. The landings are awesome and probably a touch and go opportunity. It is a little bit rocky, so it's not bad though. I mean, just make some smart choices, it'll be fine. But yeah, let's get this baby going. So I'm not sure what conditions are up higher. I guess that will be the the test here, because I don't have a good signal. You can see that windsock's moving pretty good now. So typically I launch on with trims all the way in, and this time I'm going to be one out because I have a feeling the wing's going to come up very easy, and I don't want it to pull me back. Now I'm at 6,400 feet. I just checked it, and that will be the highest I've launched from. Honestly, actually, that would be the highest I've flown from, or I've flown to, off the ground in Tennessee. I think I've gotten up to 5,000 feet, somewhere in there. Okay, feel pretty good about this. Although that wind is whipping pretty good now. Let's give it 1 second here. Let's send it. Whoa! She came up really quick. Wow, I've never had the wind come up that fast before. That was awesome. There's a good thing I trimmed in one. It just popped up and the wing just stayed there. Wow. Let's take a look at what's down the beach here. Yeah, this wind is moving. Have to be careful when I turn around. Give these guys a wave. I like to give them a wave just because then they know I'm kind of cool, you know, I'm not out here to cause trouble. And I know this thing is noisy. That's the downfall of what we do. You know, I don't want to disturb people. They're out here for the peace and quiet, and then you hear this loud motor come by, so I get it. I wouldn't want to hear that either. Another awesome camping area. Nobody down here, though. I'm going to gain some altitude before I turn around, because I have a feeling that wind is going to take me. Oh yeah, this is some fast flying right here. Wow, this is beautiful up here though. I had no idea all these roads would get you down to the lake. I'm guessing at some point in time it gets pretty busy out here.
So I guess the reason I took the Sirocco is when I flew back in Minnesota, I had the Sirocco, and I had winds pretty much like this. Just a nice laminar wind, and the wind was just a lot of fun. She's my baby. She likes to fly too. I think she was getting a little jealous of the Spider. Holy bucket, dude, it's awesome out here. So I don't know, he's probably going 40 miles an hour. Wouldn't you guess? This looks like a nice spot. It's been so long since I've done a touch and go. Like I said, in Tennessee, I fly with no wind. So there's just things you can't do when there's no wind that you can when there is. Okay, so my target is that spot right ahead there where there's no rocks. Let's see if we can time this well. Okay, the wind's taking me this way a little bit. Okay, the wind was a little switchy there. Maybe I shouldn't have done it so close to a tree. We'll try it here where I've got a few more options. As soon as I got on the other side of that tree, man, I was dancing. All right, here we go. Come in, nice and easy. Oh. Maybe I need to do that over by the van or by the truck so I can get it on video. It's not the most graceful touch and go. Just because the winds are they're switching just a little bit from south to maybe a southeast wind. I remember Micah giving me a hard time when I came down to visit that I was flying too low to the ground with the wind. And he said, if you have a motor out, you're going to break a leg. So ever since then, I've been making a little smarter choices with that. Here, say I had a motor out right now, I'd be like, oh shit. But look what I can do. Swoop down. I could basically land with no brakes pretty much. Pretty crazy. I'm debating trimming out to neutral. We'll see what my speed is here. It's kind of cool to just hover the ground too. This could be something these people have never seen before either. This is so cool. I'm probably going like 5 miles an hour. I don't know. I can go over a little bit of water, right? Especially if I can touch. I don't want to get wet, but it doesn't look like it's too deep in there. I would do a foot drag in the water, but I don't want to get my shoes all wet. Get all those birds out there. If I was really good, I'd do a touch and go on that little island out there. Let's try it on this. Almost a touch and go. Okay, how about a touch and go on this little island? Come on, I gotta be able to do that. I could be getting wet here. No. You gotta believe in yourself, right? That's what we keep telling ourselves. Oh, come on! That was easy. This is what's fun, going with the wind and then cutting into the wind, and you just float. Woof. That's awesome. I should probably practice a reverse launch. Last time I tried it, I couldn't remember one of the steps, and I messed it up, but come on. Kite it. Reverse. You gotta remember your inputs are reverse now. Okay, let's see if I can, so I can remember on a reverse launch. Okay. Ah, shoot. So if I grab this, okay, then when I spin, oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's right. So I grab these. I'm gonna get her up in the air. Go to my brakes. Whoa! That was good. That was really good. Let's try that again. Here. Okay, motor's still running. Switch back. Oh, not bad. Not bad at all, brother. Oh man, the sun's starting to go down. This time I want to reverse launch. You come down a lot faster than you think, and I think it's the altitude we're at. Okay. Set her down. Okay. And I'm trying to be in a hurry, but not at the same time. Let me just kite her up so if we can set her down good. This is what's nice about having some wind, is you can actually clear your lines by kiting versus having to go through that process of, you know, it's might be getting a little bit too light to reverse. Look at that wing. Look at that wing. She's like, come on, let's get going. She doesn't want to sit on the ground. She's ready to fly. Plenty of power. Ah, this Sirocco. It's an amazing, amazing wing. Okay, front launch. Or forward launch, I should say. Winds are a little lighter than last time, so this should be pretty simple. Got to get a little 360 action going. Oh yeah! You can get lower than that. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. I remember during training once, Eric, the owner of Aviator, came in and touched his foot on the windsock, and I thought, wow, that is so cool. And it's because he could read the winds. And when you have that nice headwind, can really adjust accordingly. Let's see if I can do it. I don't want to chop up my windsock. Apparently he's done that a few times. According to the instructors, he's cut through a couple windsocks, but let's see here. Okay, Windy, come on. Come on. I could have kicked it. Let me try that again. Oh. All right, baby, come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, hell yeah! That was awesome! I've made the status of a real pilot, finally! And I didn't shred it, so that's even better. The weather's nice. I haven't flown without a jacket in the last, I don't know, it's been a while. My first Sedona flight in Arkansas, I was able to fly without a jacket. Look at that speed. That is so awesome. And you come in like this, and it's just afloat. It's just afloat. So awesome. A giant parking lot. Oh, a place to put your boat in. Nice. This is beautiful land out here. Wow. Should be able to get across this water pretty quick. Oh yeah. It's one thing to spot land when there's no wind, because it's easier to measure your descent. But like this, not quite as easy. So fortunately I have a lot of space to work with. But I'm actually going to stow my throttle, so I'm committed. Motor's off. All right. So I'm going to go super fast this way. Okay, we know that. And if I turn, whoa, Jesus. I'm going super fast that way. Okay. Now it's just a little bit of hovering, you know, trying to time it. because I'm just slowly coming in now. But I don't want to turn too much because it's going to shoot me that direction. So I'm coming a little bit this way. Whoa. A little bit that way. A little bit this way. All right, wasn't perfect, but not bad. Not bad at all. Oh, come on, baby. Nice. Whew. All right, that takes a little bit of practice. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I am a blessed human being. Not much more you can say about that. Wow. Now it's going to be chilly in the morning. That was the nice thing about getting up tonight, as I knew it was going to be cooler in the morning. But I will still get out and fly if I can. I should have more than enough gas for another morning of awesome flying. Plus, there's a gas station. Oh, maybe there was. I can't remember if there was a gas station. This is gorgeous, though. Who knew places like this existed?
I just came down from this flight, and I don't know, the emotion just kind of hit me. I am a very blessed person. For those of you who know me closely, know that I've had some very big challenges in my life, and I've overcome a lot, and I'm self-made. I've really worked hard, and I've done a lot of mistakes. I've made mistakes, and I've made some good choices along the way that have got me to this point in life. But man, this is, sometimes do I deserve all of this? I have two of the most amazing little girls. These girls are, wow, they are so awesome, so smart, so carefree, so creative, so loving and caring and sweet. That's like the biggest blessing I could ever ask for. And then on top of that, I get to have experiences of flight and travel and motorcycling, and nothing was given to me. Nobody handed me all this. Nobody said, oh, here's some money, here's a map, here's an idea. It's just time. And it just hits me sometimes that, wow. I mean, you've got to see this view. This is where I'm camping tonight. On the other side is these cliffs. Not cliffs, mountains. And there's nobody out here. It's the most glorious weather. The winds are actually finally settling down a little bit, but they were so much fun to play in. I just burned through another 8 liters of gas tonight. And now I'll grill up a steak, camp out. I've got no service out here. which is actually amazing, but I get to use my little Garmin inReach so I can still text message my kids and Kristen, and you know, just to let people know that I'm good. And I can stay out here as long as I want. Maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days, I don't know. I'm gonna really play it by ear. And when I went flying, I found a little general store down the road. I think there's fuel as well, so gas isn't an issue. And this camping is endless. I thought about maybe moving my rig because I'm like toward an entrance, but there's hundreds of not hundreds, but 20, 30 entrances to get into this area. I'm just very grateful, and I'm very appreciative of this opportunity that I have in my life. And like I was saying the other day about the puzzle pieces, I just keep adding these amazing pieces to this life puzzle, and it's overwhelming sometimes. This right here is a piece I'm adding to my puzzle. Look at that. If that's not a glorious puzzle piece, I don't know what is. I hope when you're watching this that you're inspired on some level to just find things that bring so much joy to your life that it brings a tear to your eye. How often in life does something bring so much joy that it brings a tear, that it makes you cry? Because crying is one of those emotions that happen when we're sad. I don't know. I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm in love with Utah. It's the most amazing place so far. I've never thought of Utah this way. I've only thought of it as Moab and, of course, Salt Lake City. This part of Utah is gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I might have to live here someday. I might have to. I can hear the cows across the river. There's a dog probably at a house way up on the hillside. Wow. Awesome. Have a blessed day, guys.